I never thought my life would lead me here. It's 2 a.m, and I'm holding a piece of paper that might as well be my death certificate. An eviction notice. The third one? This time it's stamped with the words every tenant dreads. Final warning. My husband David is asleep next to me. He's wrapped in the wedding quilt his mother made us 7 years ago. He has no idea about this notice, or the one before it. I've been hiding them, tucking them away like guilty secrets. He's been through enough already. 4 months ago, David lost his job. It destroyed something in him. Watching a good man lose his purpose is like watching a building collapse in slow motion. Now he spends his days scrolling through endless job listings, his jaw tight with frustration he won't voice. Our bank account reads $28.34. That's it. That's all that stands between us and the street. I've tried everything. Sold clothes online. Taken surveys for pennies. Babysat for neighbors who barely know me. I even pawned my wedding ring. It bought us 1 week of groceries and kept the gas on for a month. This apartment is already our last resort. A cramped 2-bedroom in a building that's seen better decades. And even this is slipping away. Our landlord's name is Raymond. He's an imposing man in his late 30s, built like someone who's done hard labor his whole life. Dark-skinned, broad-shouldered, with eyes that give nothing away. Most tenants avoid him. They say he's ruthless, cold, a man who doesn't believe in second chances. I wasn't expecting mercy from him. But I also wasn't expecting what came next. It's past 1 a.m. when I make the decision. David is sleeping. I can't lie there anymore, crushed under the weight of what's coming. I pull on a sweatshirt and slip out barefoot. The hallway leading to Raymond's unit smells like disinfectant and old cigarette smoke. I stand outside his door for what feels like forever, my hand raised to knock. When I finally do, he opens almost immediately. He's shirtless, wearing only sweatpants. His expression doesn't change. "Emma," he says simply, "can we talk?" My voice comes out smaller than I intended. He steps aside without a word. His place is sparse. A leather sofa. A large television. Bare walls. No photographs, no warmth. It feels like a place where someone lives but doesn't actually have a life. "I know we're behind," I begin, standing awkwardly in his living room. "I'm not here to make excuses. I just need more time, please." He studies me for a long moment. I hate how powerless I feel under that gaze. "Time doesn't pay bills," he says flatly. "I know," I whisper, my heart hammering. "But we're trying. My husband is looking, and I'm working side jobs. If you could just give me 2 more weeks, I could evict you tomorrow." The silence that follows feels like falling. "But," he adds, and that single word changes everything. "There's another option." I freeze. "One night," he says, his voice completely neutral. "Spend 1 night with me. Your rent gets cleared. All of it." For a moment, I think I've misheard him. My face goes hot. My stomach turns. "You're not serious." "I don't joke," he replies. "You're an adult. Make your choice." I take a step back, my hands trembling. "That's disgusting," he shrugs. So is eviction. My mind is spinning. Part of me wants to scream at him. Part of me wants to run. But another part, the part that's been awake at 3 a.m, calculating which bills to pay first. That part is doing math I hate. Myself for even considering. "You think I'm desperate enough for this?" I ask, my voice shaking. "I think you're smart enough to see what's coming," he says calmly. And yes, desperate enough to be standing in my apartment right now. The worst part is, he's not wrong. I leave without another word. The walk back to my apartment feels like moving through a nightmare. I don't cry. I don't scream. I just climb into bed next to my husband and stare at the ceiling until dawn. What kind of man makes that kind of offer? And what kind of woman actually considers it? Morning comes whether I'm ready or not. David wakes up talking about job interviews. I lie still beside him, my body exhausted, my mind running in circles. The eviction clock is ticking. 9 days left. Maybe less if Raymond decides to push. I call my friend Lauren around noon. I can't tell her everything, but I need to hear another voice. "You sound terrible," she says. "What's going on?" "Just everything," I say vaguely. "The rent, David, all of it." "Jess, I know it's hard, but you've always been the strong one." "You can't give up now," I force a laugh. "Being strong doesn't pay the rent, Lauren." There's a pause. "Just remember who you are," she says gently. "Don't do anything that'll break you." I don't answer because I don't know who I am anymore. That evening, David gets another rejection. He's overqualified for a warehouse position, and they still passed him over. He punches the kitchen table, not hard, but enough to make the plates rattle. I can't do this anymore, Emma. He goes to bed early. I stay up, staring at my phone. I open our banking app one more time. $28.34. Before I can stop myself, I'm typing a message to Raymond. Can we talk? I hit send. 10 minutes later, I'm standing outside his door again. Same hallway, same silence. This time when I knock, my whole hand is shaking. He opens the door. He's wearing a black shirt this time. His expression hasn't changed. You sure? He asks. I nod once. My throat is too dry for words. He steps aside. I won't describe every detail of what happened next. It doesn't matter. The point isn't what we did, it's what it cost me. I felt numb the entire time. Like I was floating above myself, watching a stranger go through motions. He was surprisingly gentle but distant, clinical. It felt exactly like what it was, a transaction. When it was over, I dressed in silence. He didn't say anything. Neither did I. No shame, no comfort. Just finality. I slipped back into my own apartment like a ghost. David was asleep on the couch. I stood there watching him, this man who loves me, who trusts me, who would be shattered if he knew. I whispered to the empty room, "It's done." But I knew, deep down, it would never really be done. The days after felt like living underwater. Everything was muted, distant. I went through the motions, laundry, dishes, empty conversations. David noticed. "You've been quiet lately," he said one morning over breakfast we could suddenly afford again. Something wrong? Just tired, I lied. He smiled, brushing his thumb across my cheek. "We'll get through this. I promise." Those words, "we'll get through this," they cut like glass. Because we had gotten through it. The rent was cleared. Raymond had slipped a new statement under our door showing a zero balance. No explanation. No conversation. Just proof that I had paid, just not with money. David didn't ask how. "I didn't offer," Lauren called again. "You sound different," she said. "I did something," I admitted quietly. "Something I can't take back." There was a long pause. "That doesn't make you a bad person," she said softly. "It makes you human." But I didn't feel human anymore. I felt like something cracked. Something that could never be fully repaired. David found a job a week later. Warehouse logistics. Not great, but it paid. He came home grinning like he'd won the lottery. "First paycheck next Friday," he said. "We can finally breathe." I smiled. Kissed him. Told him I was proud. The guilt made it nearly impossible to actually breathe at all. I kept expecting Raymond to acknowledge what happened. A look in the hallway. A knock on the door. Something. But there was nothing. We passed each other once near the mailboxes. He walked by like I was invisible. Somehow that hurt worse. Because to him it meant nothing. A favor, a deal. Already forgotten. To me, it was everything. One night, I stood in front of the bathroom mirror under harsh fluorescent light. The woman staring back wasn't destroyed. But she wasn't whole either. I tried to imagine telling David the truth. But what would that accomplish? Nothing but pain. Nothing but destroying a man who still believed in me. So I carried it. Through grocery shopping and movie nights. Through quiet kisses and ordinary moments. Every time David hugged me, I wondered if he could feel the difference. The invisible weight I wore like a second skin. Some nights I almost convinced myself it was a nightmare. That it never really happened. But then I'd catch a familiar scent in the hallway or hear Raymond's footsteps on the stairs, and I'd remember everything. One night, David lay sleeping beside me, his breathing deep and steady. I curled against him, listening to his heartbeat. "I love you," I whispered into the darkness, and I meant it. That was the cruelest part. I never stopped loving him, but love, I learned, doesn't always mean honesty. Sometimes it means protecting someone from a truth that would break them. Sometimes it means carrying a burden alone so they can keep believing in a version of you that no longer exists. I closed my eyes and let the silence answer back. Some debts are paid in dollars. Others, they stay inside you, quiet, permanent. No receipt can make them disappear, and you learn to live with that weight, or you don't live at all.